that's showing our company actually as a hospitality services. Kak Vidi, please. Mm, Okay, so let's jump to our weekly inspirational speaker. Here is Mrs. Ayu, the co-founder and managing partner of Bali Beans. Say hello to Mrs. Ayu.
Halo Miss Ayu.
Hello there.
Hi.
First of all, let's take a look at Mrs. Ayu inspiring journey. Here I list to her experiences from her LinkedIn. She worked at Ryder Corporation in Dubai from 2014, about 3 years. Then in 2018, she started a business to empower women farmers through Bali Beans Coffee. So looking at her inspiring journey, actually we have some question here to answer by Mrs. Ayu by taking a look at journey. We love to know how you started this Bali Beans business. What was your reason, motivation for starting this business, and how did you get started? I will give this time for you.
Okay, thank you, Cynthia, for having me, or thank you everyone for having me here. First of all, nice to meet you all, and feeling privileged to be here today and share a little bit about my journey, and then as well the story how I actually started Bali Beans. So actually, obviously, some people who might be know Dubai. So we everything is imported here. Not any food that coming into the country is come from different part of the world. And then obviously for me that come from Bali, that I remember everything is grown in the backyard. It comes directly, from pick something that from the backyard and you cook it straight away. And then obviously, um, I my childhood. So I was born and grew up in the family of coffee growing region. So my parents been growing coffee since 1985, and then yeah, so I decided to do something for them, on behalf, because my childhood was like literally every single day that I live is based on coffee. And then I was thought, okay, Middle East has a very big rich culture in terms of coffee drinking, so why not to try to bring something to Dubai? And then I did that was in 2015. So I'm very proud to say that I was the first person to import Bali coffee to Dubai. And having my background work as a logistic, because that's what I do. I export and import a lot of other stuff like food, like oils, like any other thing that can be moved basically. So I import it directly to Dubai, and then I make sure that I did a bit of market research, just to understand like what the market like, what they like here locally and how they like the coffee. And then surprisingly, very very good feedback. And then I thought, oh my god, okay, so Bali obviously been always depending on tourism of as the islands. And I'm thinking, why not to try something like exporting? And I just, like obviously I've been away from home for like 16 years. So I've been in Dubai for that long, and then missing something that come out from Bali, it just feels so privileged. You feel a bit more close to home. And then that's where the brand come out. So the brand is come out of like Bali. So we created a name called Bali Beans, and very lucky to be able to book the name and then get the website and get all the things done. And then that's how I actually started Bali Beans.
Wow, what a good answer and very inspiring for us. Really inspiring for me personally. I also live in a village. My father also has a coffee field in a
Oh
small
yeah.
area in North Sumatra. People know it is as Sidikalang, and one of the leading producer Robusta coffee beans. And Sidikalang is known uh, to be tasty by Sidikalang coffee is known to be tasty by many people, I think. So we have another question we love to hear an answer from Mrs. Ayu.
Sure.
Uh, is what do you hope to achieve with your business success? For example, financial freedom at a young age. I will give the time for you to answer this question.
Well, okay. There's a personal and then there's business way, right? For me, what do I like to achieve? Obviously, being a woman from Bali, where we are born with nothing, because the guys is taking the wheels, and the guys will be continued generations in Bali. So as women, I think it's a very important to be financially independent, and that's actually the reason, one of the reason I actually decided to leave Bali, which is in 2007, uh, the bomb in 2005. I had to support my younger brother. I also had to support my family in financially, because my older brother got a motorbike accidents, and then we had to borrow a lot of money. So financially we were a minus. So we were like poor, not just poor, but we are minus, in terms of financial. And that's where lead me to find something like, what can I find something that's sustainable, that I can get an income, that because that during the time that we had a Balinese bombing in 2002 and 2005. So at a young age I have already to think about the future. I'm like, what if another bombing happened? Because it was so hard to get a job in 2005, and especially for someone like me who not very highly educated or have very specific education. And then I'm thinking like, how can I find different solution, and then whereby I can get sustainable income. And that's why I decided to kind of get a job abroad in the UAE, which is United Arab Emirates. And then obviously getting into being a Balinese as a woman, obviously. And then I think for us, as a Balinese, we really need to be independent in terms of the financial side of it. Like I mentioned earlier, not all of us are lucky to be born and given very high education by the family. So I think you know should be encouragement to us to work harder for us, because then obviously the same thing as a woman, we also have to be focused with to give a good life to a family, and then just to be a backup to our other half, which is husband or partners. So yeah, so that's how the financially I think is a very important as a woman. And plus, as obviously in Bali we've been depending on tourism quite a lot, and then why not to shift our focus as well to something that we can uh you know uh bring out of Bali, which is not in tourism, because everyone drinks coffee, and then I would say 95% of population drink coffee, and then we feel. I mean, like we very privileged to be able to say that Bali producing a lot of agriculture that we can use potentially, where many countries like in the UAE, like where I am at the moment, we don't grow anything here, you know. So everything is imported, and then I just thought of, why not to utilizing what we got, the rich soil that we have in Bali, to bring something out of Bali. So that is my answer.
Thank you so much for your answer, Miss, which make our minds more open to being independent, maybe. And we would like to know to the last big question from you. We would love to know. Um, the last is, what's differs Bali Beans Coffee from others?
What the difference from Bali Beans coffee to others? I think, well, first of all, it's been grown, in with love, with from my parents. Obviously, is their legacy. They've been encouraging me to actually, well, they've been growing coffee in sustainable, without use of chemicals or anything that could harm, like any like harmful fertilizers to soil, to environment. And then I don't know if you met my dad. He is actually 80 years old plus, and he's still very active and young. And I just love nature, because I think nature has given us everything, but somehow we, as a human, we mix it up with chemical to make sure we secure the stuff. And then Bali beans is grown obviously in our own soil in Bali, and then it's grown by my family, and along with the female farmers that I supporting. I'm very proudly to empower them as well. And then yeah, and then we trying to do a movement. Well, not trying, but doing a movement where we agreed to basically not just growing coffee sustainable, but then also just removing away the farmers from the chemicals. Then they don't have breeding with them every day, and it's just to create more environments whereby much more healthier for me, uh, us as a farmers, but it's also consumers. Because I just think what what we investing today to ourselves is we going to harvest it one day, a long line of the life, which is another 15 or 20 years. So just we want to make sure that the food chains is healthy for us, and then the same time as well, like cutting the food chain shorter. So basically, um with the way how Bali beans work right now, is actually from farm to cup straight away. So the coffee doesn't travel long journey from the farmers, which usually going to like local brokers. The local brokers will take it to different local brokers again, and then usually goes to like exporter, and then the exporter will supply the coffee to kind of importer, and then the importer will supply the coffee to coffee company, and then the coffee company supply to a coffee shop, restaurants, and then it goes to us. So it's a very long journey before actually the coffee made it to your cup. And then with Bali beans, the difference is like it coming directly from our farm to your cup straight away. And then just imagining like, drink something that you know where it come from. Anyone can walk in anytime at Bali Beans to see our farm and to meet my family, and then to see how we grow and we farm them. People do soil tasting all the time. And then that's what is the difference between us. And then it just, make it life is easier. If we can make it easier, why make it complicated? So
Okay. Thank you so much for telling us the difference. That's quite clarifying. Um, I see in your web in Bali Bean,
mhm.
your premium coffee is ground by um, local Balinese farmers who practice the subak abian, I think.
Yes.
Could you let us know what about subak abian, please?
So Subak Abhiyan is the way how we join force together with all the farmers to grow coffee in the same way. So, as you know, in Bali, we don't really own a lot of land as any other countries, because in Bali we have a called like a banjar or desa system. We decided to dividing on land we got each to be able to keep the tradition. So with all this tradition way of Balinese people, we joined force together with all with a lot of farmers from the same village to grow coffee in the same way, and then the same time is to also facilitate the crop, and then the way we process it, and then we sell it together. So it's basically like a group of farmers to kind of work together to make the best product possible, and then distributing it in the same routing. So that's his Bakaben.
All right. Thank you so much for your answer, Miss. I think anyone else want to ask Mrs. Ayu? Please do so.
Sure. I have an immediate question for Miss Ai. Hi, Miss Ai. How you doing? This
I'm
is
very
Jim.
good.
Fantastic. I think your story is truly inspirational, and it's inspirational for me because I'm like the opposite, right? So I'm a foreigner that came to Bali, started a business here. What do you think is, let's say, a strength of being Balinese and working in a foreign country like UAE? What do you think is something that also creates a change in mindset as you live and work abroad?
Oh, yes. It changed a lot of way you see the world. That is 100%. In the way, obviously for me, like, coming out from like a small village, which is in Plaga. I don't know if any one of you been to Plaga. It's a very tiny village. And then we did not have electricity until 1996. So I used to go to school with a very black nose because of that little lamb that, you know. And then somehow, obviously, life full of surprises. That's how I can say. And yeah, 2007, I decided, like, oh my God, I'm so brave because that's the only option I had. I think when human had no option, right? When we are as a human, we don't have no option. We'll just take anything that come out to us, right? So when I offered a job to Dubai, and then as a woman, it was very like very uncommon things that time in 2007, if I must say. And for Balinese to work abroad, and then got a lot of different like comments like from my family, and like, what were you doing and stuff. But I was like, no, what I seen from TV, because TV the only thing we have the time, and even though it's not much channels and stuff, and then I'm gonna do it anyway. So I changed my mindset since then. So it's not that the mindset I changed it when I landed in Dubai. Obviously I grow with Dubai, and then because I think the changes can start anywhere, and then it's depending what you want to do in life. And obviously for me, like from like growing in a coffee environment as a farmers, because my life as a child, we always like depending ourselves on the coffee crop that we got only once a year, so our everyday life, we depending on that crop. So it was like a not an easy life for me, so. And I always sometimes take my time to sit back under the coffee trees and imagining what my future will be like. I go to school, and then I'll be having a successful career. So you have to dream so big from when you're little, I would say, right? And then that's where actually lead me to Dubai. And then obviously Dubai in 2007 is like a just startup growing country, like it was desert, like literally it's only a few towers around. And then it was like smaller village, smaller than Bali, a lot smaller. It's only few hotels. And I was like, we have accommodation. So I work, actually my first job in Dubai is actually work in the hotel, guys, because that's what we've been taught in Bali, right? Work in the hotel, work in hospitality. And then how actually, obviously for me, I'm like, okay, I landed as a very young person. And then I'm thinking, okay, this is the country that I have to make out of something. And I think I'm believing in it. And I see the visions of Dubai. They have a massive visions. They want to build something, the bigger, the taller. And then it's very in line to what my childhood dream is, And then that's what like, so my mindset was changed since I decided to leave Bali, and then obviously growth with Dubai. And then now, after 16 years of living here in Dubai, I've pretty much achieved what I need to do, and to be able to build my, to go home to Bali, to build my own company as a Balinese. But my journey doesn't stop here. So my journey is actually continue, because to build a company is the easiest part, but I think running the company is more challenging, right? And then
Yeah.
I would say, obviously, for me, like a lot of people sees me as a successful person and stuff, and obviously, to where I come from, to where I am today, and yes, I have improved myself a lot, and I improved my family life, and then I give inspiration to people, but to the journey that I want it to be. So I'm still a long, long way, because, those mindset that actually come from, obviously, from Bali, and then living in Dubai, and Dubai has a very, what's called a big vision, and then the same in line with me as a childhood. So that's how actually my mindset changed.
It's very inspirational. Thank you very much. Were there any specific things you think about, like your upbringing, that were, let's say, a strategic advantage over what you experienced in Dubai? Was, let's say, Balinese playfulness, open-mindedness, whatever? Could you see that as like the parts of your upbringing that made you more advantaged than people in the environment where you started your business?
Yes. Oh my God. What I mentioned about life full of surprises. Life is a circle, and that's why the Bali Beans logo is actually full circle. Obviously, it is, very privileged to say come from Bali. Everyone in the world, I would say now, like they knows Bali very much, right? Because of the people. And then that is very true, because we don't have very great infrastructure. We don't have we are very chaotic in Bali. If anyone have been in abroad and been experienced different country, in a way, like certain thing that we do in Bali is not very well organized. And then yes, and the people still love Bali, and then people come back for us because of the people, because we are very kind. And then obviously for me, that skill, I would say I call it skill, because obviously we are obviously in Bali not very well high educated as well. Not many school was recognized 2007. Is only probably one of international school that time, and obviously for me as a Balinese, I wouldn't be able to even dream to afford it to school. And then the only thing that I have that I brought with me to Dubai is basically kindness, and then open-minded to something that what other country has to offer. And at the same time, as a woman, we need to be very careful, because obviously challenge to be a woman is a lot more in of like, uh, to get the people to trying to different thing. As woman, this and I don't need to explain it too detail on that. And then so it's just being like strong to know also what you want in life, and then to you focus on your goal. And then this is very, very important, because then it will lead you to where you need it to be. So those kind of thing, I think kindness, friendliness, and open-minded is a very important. And but at the same time, you have to stay true to yourself, to know what you want to do in life, and then focus on your goal.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I think oftentimes people forget that those are strengths, and those are actually very rare abroad too as well. So thank you.
You're welcome.
I think that's all for the question. Thank you, Miss Ayu, for sparing your time from Dubai to here with us to sharing your inspirational story. You can stay here if you want to stay to see the rest of our meeting. But if you have another things to do, you can leave this meeting. Thank you so much, Miss.
Thank you so
Thank
much, Miss Ayu.
You're welcome, guys. So, really nice privilege, and I hope it's helped you guys to, to be inspired. And I think for me, it's just like feeling privileged to be here. And then I wish you all good luck, and whatever you do in life, do it very, focused, and then don't quit, don't give up. So whatever you guys doing in life, just work it one step at a time. So that's all I say. So thank you so much for having me. And then unfortunately I have to leave actually. So I'll leave you guys to it. And then I hope to see you around, and obviously maybe, say hi to me when, you guys come to Bali Beans or something. So anything, feel free to ask me personal as well. So please feel free to share my WhatsApp. So I'll be happy to also to share if someone want to speak like personal talk with me, and then to give them a little bit of life experience and stuff. So please feel free to do that.
Thank you so
Thank
much, Bethany.
You're welcome.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much, boy. Okay, Cynthia, please proceed with the rest of the all hands.
I think we can continue the next session as we are already doing our weekly inspiration. And next session will continue by Kak Vidi.
Hey, thank you very much, everyone. I'll be your moderator for this week, and we'll continue with Mr. Jing. Weekly mission, vision and mission statement from Mr. Jing first.
Okay, thank you very much, Vidi. And thank you actually to the team that brought Miss Ayu here. I thought that was actually one of our very, very good speakers. It's actually it's kind of remarkable sometimes when we live somewhere and we might not even be conscious of our own strengths. And it's not until you change your environment or you go somewhere else that you realize that the abundance of kindness and the open-mindedness is something that is, I think, a core strength of Indonesian culture, not just Balinese culture. So it's good to have that contrast and have people like Miss Ayu come in. Thank you for bringing her in today. I thought that was a really good start to our all hands today. All right, a few things, right? So let me get into it. Bad news. We failed 2 months in a row now to achieve our revenue, and that doesn't really inspire delight. But what's been, I think, the cause of part of it, okay? I'll go into the causes later, but this will mean, of course, bonus caps this month, and that's part of the job as myself as an upper manager to keep the company aligned. So anyways, I'll be announcing more details on the exact number of the bonus cap and what it's going to mean for everybody through the usual way. I'll put a video on Loom. If you have any questions about it, you are free to approach me individually. I know it's not necessarily the easiest way to approach group settings, so that allows me to also get feedback on things. I'm also listening to the feedback on today's All Hands. It's the question of the week. I looked around, and I would say that for the most part, our operations, our sub-management seems to be pretty good. Vision is correct, upper management is correct, acknowledgement is strong. So amongst all the leadership attributes, the one place that I would say we're probably the weakest in the past 2 months has probably been strategy. And I'll talk a little bit more about what it means to be strategic here at the All Hands. So the main problem, I think, is something related to our strategy. And what does that actually mean? So this is the LPT. This is the leadership planning table. And if you guys are not familiar with it, hopefully you are becoming more familiar with it. It is in the employee journals. It is something I refer to all the time with most of the leadership here. And it's something I think every person at Bukit Vista should be familiar with during their career here. So let's take a deep dive into what we mean by strategy. Strategy means understanding threats and opportunities, and it also means understanding what eventually creates impact to our goals. So what's been the problem here? Why are we not strategic? I think part of the problem, and this is something I'll explore today for the rest of the day, and also give the report and the bonus cap discussion through Loom. I think what we can do better is we really need to start qualifying problems. We need to count our resources and make an impact on our strengths. Let me just give a few examples that I had direct involvement with qualifying the problem. We onboard property partners without actually qualifying if they are good people, if they have integrity, or if they have essentially long-term alignment. We've done that a few times now, made a few mistakes. That, I think, is not qualifying the problem. I think we've also taken a look on our day-to-day operations and spent a lot of time dealing with partners who have no intention of actually being positively transformed. That is also not qualifying the problem. We spend a lot of our time and resource on trying to chase and change things that just won't want to change. We don't have that consent. We don't have that alignment yet. And then at the end of the month, we don't make impact because we're not actually working according to our strengths. So this seems to be a strategic issue that I see happening across the company. What should we do instead? I think we need to start having clarity and a better vision about what problems are. Not every problem should actually be solved, and not every problem solved will actually make impact on our shared goals. I think we need to think about that as number one. Number two, before we go about and spend time and energy and put people into jobs, maybe we need to ask ourselves, do we actually have the resources to do that and still achieve our goals? And last is, are we strategic and focusing on problems that have the most impact on raising the overall hospitality or raising the overall revenue? And I think if we all start asking ourselves these questions as a company, we'll probably be more strategic minded. Now, not everybody here is paid to be strategic. Some of you are paid to handle operations. Some people, their primary goal is to do knowledge management. Some people's primary goal is to lead. Some people's primary goal is to come up with vision. Some people's primary goal is to manage other people. We have different leadership attributes. But I think strategic is essentially where we are the most lacking at this point and the most need of actual benefit. But when we're not strategic as a company, no matter how much effort has been spent on the other attributes, it just doesn't reach our goals. All right. So once again, what's the point of everyone working together? It is to inspire delight. And that delight we do measure. We measure it through a hospitality score. We measure it through the amount of revenue that each partner is accumulating, which summed together comes our overall company revenue. So that is the measurement of inspiring delight. How do we do that? We do it through hospitality innovations. And although I've seen a lot of innovation happen, I don't know if the third part is actually happening as often as it should. Positive transformation. Positively transforming guests, positively transforming partners, positively transforming employees. There is some progress in positive transformation, but I think we can be much more strategic about how we choose who to positively transform. Okay, the goals are the same. So once again, we're getting a bit closer to our semester goals. It is the third semester goal we've had. We've accomplished 2 of them so far. So the revenue goal is 2.4 million, overall rating 4.5, and 5-star percentage of 70%. The goal will be measured on October 5th, and we're accumulating the entire revenue from April 1st to December 30th. That measurement should be 2.4 million for us to reach our goal, and 3x individual bonuses will go out if we reach that goal. Qualified interns will receive 3 million. All right, we've talked about this many times, but I just want to reiterate what the rewards are for achieving the goal. 3 goals, pay 4x individual bonus. 2 goals, 3x individual bonus. 1 goal, 2x individual bonuses in October. And interns, 3, 2, and 1, according to how many goals we reach in terms of millions of rupiah. All right, that's the reward. I think the inspiration for this week can come from this. I was just listening to Ibu Ayu talk about Bali Beans, and it kind of triggered this particular thought. Sometimes we're not strategic because we're not managing our emotions well. We're too afraid to confront a difficult partner. We're too afraid to deal with a difficult guest. We're not essentially allowing our curiosity to overcome our fear. And when we don't let our curiosity overcome our fear, then we are uninspired. However, if we do allow our curiosity to overcome our fear and become greater than our fear, then I think we'll see the improvements. We'll make the changes that are necessary, and we'll move strategically in the direction that the company needs to move. Okay, that's my update for this week. Let me hand it back over to Vidi.
Okay, thank you very much, sir, for the vision mission. Let's move on next to Irene for the Airbnb dashboard. Over to Irene.
Okay, thank you, Kak Vidi. Okay, for this week Airbnb Insight Dashboard, I would like to share with you guys. We have quite some good news in this week Airbnb dashboard, and starting from communication. Okay, for communication last week we have 79.3%.
Sorry, Irene, your screen is still loading, so can we wait until your screen loads up first for a bit?
Okay.
Okay, I think it's loaded up, but it's just a bit laggy for now.
I can see pretty good now. Yeah.
Okay. All right. For communication, last week we have 79.3%, and for this week we have 79.6%. We have 0.3% of improvement. And next we have accuracy. Accuracy last week we have at 75.8%, and this week we achieved 76.0%, and there's 0.2% improvement. And for check-in, we have 81.0% last week, and this week we have 81.3%, which is no 0.3% improvement. And this is exciting. Location last week 72.5%, and this week 73.0%. There's 0.5% improvement. And we also have value that has the highest improvement. In last week we have 71.3%, and this week we have 71.9%. Next, we also have cleanliness. Here, last week we have 68.8%, and this week we reached 69.3%, which 0.5% improvement. And for overall quality, we have 72.3% with 44.58 overall rating, and this week we have 72.6% with 4.59 overall rating. We have improved for 0.3%. Yeah, there's 0.3% improvement. And for this week focus, we are going to focus on the maintenance and the owner blocking calendar, which has a big impact to our revenue. In this month alone, there are a lot of issues where partners cancel the blocking of their own of the owner calendar, and it affects the opportunity loss that we have on this week also. As you can see here in the chart, we have maintenance block that is gradually reduced time by time, but the personal block is getting higher, and the walk-in also getting higher. And what we do is we confirm the maintenance block from the partner whether is a valid maintenance or not. And the personal block, we are trying to personal block and walk-in, we are trying to enforce partner to not cancel the blocking calendar last minute, because it will reduce our opportunity to sell the room. And that's it from me. I think I will give this back to Kak Vidi. Back to Kak Vidi.
Okay, thank you, Irene. Congratulations for the team for a lot of improvements in the VP sector, and there are already strategies and also insights from Irene as well. Next, we'll move on with the weekly mission inspiration. Let's wait for Cynthia. Are you available to share the screen? Or okay, I'll have to share the screen instead. Yeah. Oh, wait. Is it okay? It's okay. Yeah.
Yes, Kak Vidi, please proceed. Thank you.
Okay, let's start with the weekly mission inspiration from the guest side. We have from Marcel. Is Marcel here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah. So we have this one guest. This is for me as for the operational is very good because we provide best services for this guest, especially for this guest because he really have a lot of requests, like specific requests, even about cake. He requested about pavlova, specifically pavlova, and we trying to fund the restaurant and everything. So the guest left this review, like stated that Bukit Vista is one of the contributors of the management towards their travel plan. So yeah, that's it from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Excellent service from the guest side. And over to the partner side, we have from Kagani. over to Kagani.
Thank you, Vijay. So this is a follow-up with story from the field last week. So we know that product development team has really worked really hard to improve Bivigo app's user experience. So whenever I saw Nadia visit property, I saw an interesting engagement between her and on-site team. So I'm come up with the idea, why not we documenting it? So why not we tell to the community, tell to potential client, tell to everyone that we have a good apps, good product, and we have the team as well in Bali to inspect the usage, to getting feedback, the direct feedback. So yeah, I think this is follow up from last week's story from the field. Yep, thank you, PD. Back to you.
Okay, thank you very much, Kagani, for the announcement of what PD does as well. And that's from the partner side. Next to our employee side, over to Furkon.
Okay, thank you very much, Kofidi. So last week we have done BVI's Day where we saw our 5 amazing interns from Ganesh, Thea, Dewa, Pandu, and also Sarah to talk about their projects in front of their lecturers. It is very a positively transforming event. All of the lecturers from the representative of interns attended, and it marks the end of our 4th batch of MBKM and also mark our recruitment process for the 5th MBKM program. So please be prepared for all the leaders to have bunch of applicants and also interns coming in.
Okay, thank you very much, Furkon. Next, we have from the technological innovation over to Kabayu.
Okay, this one is a butler for partner assistant. So basically questions from partner will be automatically answered if the answer is already on Bivigo or NPM message. Like for example, what time the guest will arrive, for example. That's normally it's already in Bivigo, or if it's not there, usually the guest already telling us on messages. So now butler can fetch the messages and send back to the partner. So the story is we always have issue with response time to our partners. And most of the operational questions are pretty simple and we have the answer already, but sometimes we don't have anyone responding. So this could be outside work hour, or someone is taking day off, or we are busy working with the guests and other reasons basically. So now what if we can just forward the information that we already have anyway about the guest to help the partner understand more about the guest? I think that would be better. And I believe that giving context to on-site staff about the guest will lead to better experience and less confusion. For example, if the guest saying that I will arrive in 30 minutes, the staff will know that, and the staff will be at the property before the guests arrive. So it's better experience rather than the guest arrive and then waiting for the staff and like the usual problem. Right now it's in limited mode. We still limit the number of message sent automatically. We want to make sure that the information is correct first, but this already started to be sent to some of our partners.
Right, cool stuff, Kabayu. Right on innovation, yeah. And next we have the company theme, target and achievement. And since Kyla is on emergency sick leave, I believe so, we'll call Furkon over.
Okay, thank you very much, Kak Vidi. So yeah, since Kayla is on emergency sick leave, so I will read the money team that has been prepared by her. But before that, please, all of us wish her the best for her condition and get recovery soon. Okay, please click the presentation there. Okay, so basically our theme for this month is actually maximizing impact, as what Mr. Jing has said in his vision and mission statement about being strategic. And next slide, please. And maximizing impact means we manage our resources to be more efficiently by prioritizing tasks that are both easily executable and yield significant impact. It is actually quite related with the one of the economic principles to have a minimum resource and maximize the impact or the output. So this is actually our theme for and principles for this month, rather than investing time and effort in more challenging endeavors with minimal results. Next slide, please. And what are the key aspects for us to be able to deliver this? So we have three. Our goal is to empower those who demonstrate strength, empower the strength. And the second one is motivate those with capability. And the third one is proactively eliminate any weaknesses that do not align with our mission. So everything is more into empowering the strength, eliminate the weakness. So together with so many people here, 50 people in the company, let's unlock our full potential and create a lasting impact for the Bukit Vista continuity. So that's the theme that I would like to deliver just now. And yeah, is there Cynthia here? Cinta, sorry, not Cynthia, sorry, I mistaken again.
Yes, I'm here.
For business intelligence. Okay. Cinta, so basically you have a more visibility in doing company team target achievement. After hearing my presentation, do you have any more additionals that you would like to add regarding the team that has been delivered?
I think that's all. You can continue to the target.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so Kavidi, can you exclude the slides? Okay, so for July target, it has not been set yet for the July revenue target because it will be set by end of the day. So if you're curious, you can check it later. Okay, Mr. Jing, you pointed out like downwards after this. So do you mean?
End of day, the July target will be set. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the achievement has not been updated, so we can skip that for a moment. And moving on to the core value recognition. Thank you very much, Kofidi.
Oh, semester target, please.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Jing. Okay, so for the semester target, we have actually achieved around $1.6 million US dollars. So it's actually we have progressing more into more than 50 or more than half, especially specifically at 67.44%. So I think it's good progressing. So Mr. Jing is counting on the month, I believe. So yeah, guys, keep our power and let's execute to fully meet our semester target until the October. Okay. Mr. Jing or Cinta, do you have any additionals that I have not mentioned earlier on company team target and achievement?
I want to congratulate to our strategic team because we already collected good revenue, starting revenue for July, and hopefully we can maintain it for the rest of the week, for the rest of the day, and can convert the potential revenue on each day.
Yes.
And
Mr. Jing.
also, for Khan and Lilith, I think it's important. I just calculated we're exactly halfway finished with the time, right? So we started in April. Now it's the beginning of July. So we're halfway through the time for the semester. And we've gotten 67%. So that's actually a good sign. We're a little bit ahead, all right? But this is the halfway point. This is halfway through the semester. Okay, back to you for Khan.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jing, for the additionals. Thank you very much, Cinta, also for adding some comments. And I have nothing to deliver again, so I will get the floor back to you, Kafidi.
Okay, thank you very much, Furkan and the others, Mr. Jing and also Cinta, to complete the complete team revenue target, also semester goal. Next, we'll move on to the core value recognition. We have quite a few. Let's start from Mo Wayan.
Okay. Promise for Kyla is last night I got a call from Pak Indra. I was sleeping already and then I didn't pick up the call, but Kyla called me and she's still awake and she take over basically Pak Indra's call.
Okay, thank you very much, Mo Wayan, and congratulations for Kyla. Over to Wismo.
Yeah, I will shout out to Bliketut and and Tandy for the cleanliness in June, where we reach above 70%. Yeah, this is the good achievement since I have joined with Bukit Vista. We are not achieved for 70% in Bali.
Okay, excellent work, yeah, from Blikito and also Katendi. Congratulations. Next, we have from Marcel.
Yeah, this is for both Ardana and Cynthia. So they both show in the core value of never settle. So they're very agile to move towards higher level adult leadership and handling case by case with a cool head. So let's move towards tools of usage adoption, yeah, and complain more so we can lower our workload. Thank you.
Okay.
Oh, one
Again
more.
to Marcel.
Yeah, this is for Della and Shalene. Be the hero because they brave enough to take a responsibility as a case manager. Even though they're still trainee, they show their empathy towards operational, a good first step, I believe. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Marcel, for the nominations. Next, we have from Bella.
Okay, thank you, Coffee. This is to Kalilis actually. The case that at the time she was responsible for partner engagement as I was in BBW and also Della was taking off. She explained to the partners with comprehensive explanations and also get the partners also satisfied with her explanation. That's so great. Thank you, Kalilis.
Okay, good work from the revenue management team. I guess that's all for the corporate recognition. Next, because of our limited time, let's move on to the announcement. Over to Shelin. Okay, Shelin has just rejoined.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay, nice. Okay, so this is actually an announcement for the ship arrangement as well as the BBW. So basically, attention to everyone, especially those non-operational employees. We are currently rearranging the shift arrangement, basically with me and Della starting to take up the trainee position as well in this case. So please approach me by the end of the day today, 6 p.m. WITA, to set your BBW dates. So please come up with at least 2 proposed days so that like we can basically like help arrange the schedules. And notes for like future arrangement. Number 1 is that we'll rely on Google Calendar basically as a single source of truth for your scheduling as well as your availability. And number 2, changes of shift can be consulted directly to the shift managers working on that specific day. So that will be all for the announcement from my side. Thank you. Back to BD.
Okay, thank you, Shelin. And next, we have an announcement from Furqan.
Okay, so as you can see on the announcement card, so this is actually a quite sad announcement because we would like to announce the Tara's end of contract or leaving from Bukit Vista. So it was unfortunate that we have to let her go. One of our members here. So it is actually Tara's last day was yesterday, but we invite I think it's personally me. I invited her again to this all hands to probably have some words or say goodbye to all of us. So Tara, are you here right now?
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay, so Tara, please, if you would like to have something to say, you have time for 1 minute from now. 1 to 2 minutes.
So I would like to say thank you to everyone, especially for Con, for being my mentor and everyone who are working with me, Mas Gani, and Moayana, and Mr. Jing, and Erika, and Cynthia, and Wismo especially, and then Ardana, my very patient best friend, temanku yang paling sabar. Uh, uh, Semoga, I hope we can meet again in the future and we can have fun again in BBW. And
Okay.
Irene, please.
Okay, quite an announcement there. So yeah, but I think Tara will still like have be available in Discord because of the removal access and such. So yeah, when if you meet her, please do not be stranger. And also Tara, please also do not be stranger to us. Thank you very much for the announcement for this, and I will give back the floor to Kafidi.
Okay, thank you very much for comfort announcement. Since we have 3 minutes left, the personal updates, the question of the week contains a lot of interesting information and to keep up with what your team has been doing. So please read them after the meeting and do comment on them if you have any questions or maybe elaborations. For example, you saw someone else has a good idea and you have an idea to develop it further to pursue the company's vision and mission. Please do so. But for now, I think that's it. And please give us all hand feedback, and I'll go back to Cynthia to close the all hands. Over to Cynthia.
Okay, thank you everyone for attending this meeting, and see you in the next week.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much, Cynthia, for hosting the all hands. Thank you very much, Kafidi, for the moderating it.
Thank
See you
you,
guys.
everyone. Have a nice day.
Have a nice day. Have a nice week, everyone.
Everyone.